Hey everybody, welcome back. We are trying to get a vehicle for the channel. Let's see what we can do today. This is the one that I'm looking at right here. The 2014 Ford F-150 Super Crew with 100,000 miles on it. It's a theft recovery, but it is on reserve and reserve hasn't been met.
This is a hot lot.
I am the high bidder at this point. However, that doesn't mean anything. Most of these cars are pre-bid, and that's what I've been doing over the last few days is bidding, and people have come along and bid it up a bit, and now the price is pretty much up there, but the reserve is not met, so I have to see what happens. I have my limits, so I'm not going to pay retail for an auction car, that's for sure. So we'll watch a few of these, and I'll try and explain a few things as we go along. This one is a pure sale. That means whatever it brings at auction is the vehicle's going to sell. If it were a reserve, they say it's sold on approval, which means the seller has to either approve or send an offer to counter what was won at auction. In other words, if I bid $10,000 on a car and they want $12,000 for it, they have 1 day to contact me and say, yeah, we're not going to sell it to you unless you give us $12,000. And then I can turn around and say, yes, no, or hey, how about $11,000? And I have done that on a couple of vehicles that I've got for the channel, and that has worked out really well for me. However, this truck that we're looking at, it's not this one on the screen, it's this one down here.
Sold.
That vehicle has been on auction a couple of weeks ago, and that's exactly what happened. The bids didn't go high enough, the seller didn't want to sell it for that, they were negotiating with the winner of the bid, and the winner didn't want to pay what they were asking. So that makes me think maybe they're asking too much, but we're going to find out, I think, if we win it. Let's watch a few of these, and if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down below, and I will try and answer every single one of them. But I'll just be quiet and let you guys watch this, and I'll cut it off because we are 2 hours away from the truck that I want for the channel to come up for bid. So I'm not going to record 2 hours worth of stuff to wait to get there. So I'll cut this off after a few minutes. We'll watch a few of these, and then I will come back just before the truck we're looking at comes up for bid. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you're liking the video, please subscribe. I've got some great plans for the channel. We're going to get a lot done. We're going to pull some cars out of auction. We're going to fix them up, and we're going to sell them cheap. That way people in the community will get a great deal on a car, and hopefully I'll get enough subscribers and watch time to where I can get monetized. I might make a few bucks, but you know what? I might not, and that's okay. I'm going to have a great time doing this. So, all right, everybody, just enjoy this, and we'll come back again soon.
New bidder. New bidder.
This room right now has 829 participants, which is quite a bit higher than what I normally see. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. There's a lot of bid action going on here, which isn't always the case.
Bonus time. Sold on approval. New bidder. This is a hot lot. Bonus time. Sold. New bidder. New bidder. New bidder. This is a hot bidder. New bidder. Bonus time. New bidder. Sold. New bidder. New bidder. New bidder. This is a hot lot. New bidder.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this off after this one, and we will come back when we're close to the 2014 Ford F-150 coming up for auction. Hang in there. By the power of video, an hour and a half will go by before your very eyes. See you in a second. And we're back. 2.5 hours later. It's absolutely crazy in this
This
room.
is a hot lot.
Over 3,000 participants in this auction. I don't think I've ever seen more than 800. I don't know what's going on. They must have something really special in here, and hopefully it's not the truck that I want. So let's watch and see what happens.
Time. Sold. Sold.
So far, so good.
New bidder.
Somebody wants it pretty bad.
Bonus time.
I hate bonus time if I'm bidding. Okay,
Sold on approval.
12,900. I was willing to go to 14.
New bidder.
But here we are. That's how it works, just that quick. Money gets spent very easily. You could be watching something for a couple of weeks, keeping your eyes on it, and in a matter of seconds, it slips from your fingers.
This is a hot lot.
So, as you saw, that was a sold on approval, which means we didn't meet the requirement of the seller, the reserve price. So they'll be contacting me to make an offer, and we'll see how that goes. I'll let you know. Thanks for watching. Let's talk a little bit more about how this process works as far as buying cars at auction, how you can win at auction, and what it is you need to do to be able to buy at the auction. So, this vehicle here, as you may have already watched the video on it, was purchased at auction. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about broker and non-brokered purchases of vehicles from the auction. I've bought a couple of vehicles from different auctions, and it basically, from what I've seen, it works the same for each one. If you don't have a business license, an automobile related business license, such as a wholesaler license or a dealer license, if a vehicle comes up that's not for public sale, only for licensed business sale, then you have to go through a broker. Now, when you go through a broker, you basically pay twice the fees to buy the vehicle. At least that's been my experience. That's just the fees now, not the whole purchase price. So, such as this vehicle that I'm sitting in now, the tow rig that I bought out of Oklahoma City. This was not a vehicle that could be purchased by the general public, so I had to go through the broker. The broker charged about $1,000. The auction house charged about $1,300. And then there's the fees for storage and other associated fees. So here's how this all started. I saw the vehicle, I wanted the vehicle, somebody had gone out and looked at the vehicle, seemed like it was okay, even though they missed a lot of stuff. It's nothing that can't be fixed, and nothing that's gonna affect how the vehicle performs, really. Anyway, so I said, okay, I want to buy it. So I had to watch it for a couple of weeks until it came up for auction. And I said, well, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can just sit and watch the auction and bid as it goes, or you can pre-bid a maximum amount of money that you would pay for that vehicle. Well, that's what I did. I figured it would go for about $12,500. And that's what I put as my maximum bid. And then the more I thought about it, and I was wrong in doing this, and I want to explain that to you. I said, well, if somebody comes up with $12,600, I've lost it for $100. Well, I wasn't firm on my maximum bid, apparently, and so I increased that maximum bid to $14,500, thinking that, okay, if I win it at $12,500, no problem. Well, I won it, and it's in the video as to how much I won it for. I think it was $12,600, $12,900, something like that. And then this vehicle had a minimum bid on it. Well, I won it at 12 something, and that did not meet the minimum bid. So the broker decided to bid the rest of what I had put down as my maximum bid and bid that on the vehicle, which the seller declined because it didn't meet their minimum. Okay, so if you're looking at a vehicle and you think, oh man, it'll go for about $8,000, and you say, but you know what? I'm going to put 95 just in case somebody goes a little bit higher. And if there's a minimum bid on it, say for 95, the auction house will bid that 95 for you, even though you may not have really wanted to pay that much for it. You were just putting a little cushion in there just in case somebody came along and bid it up a couple $100 more. That's the way I thought about it. That's the wrong way to think about it. Whatever you put down as your maximum, you're committed to it. So be careful with that. Now, also be careful with looking at a vehicle and saying, yeah, I want to bid on that one. Check and see if it's open to the public or if you have to have a broker bid on it. Because if it's open to the public, why would you pay broker's fees to do that? You do have to put a deposit down with the broker house. You do have to put a deposit down with the auction house. Those fees are refundable, and they are just a deposit. Say if you, for some reason, don't pay for the vehicle, they'll keep your deposit and relist the vehicle. So there's another thing. If you win, know that you've won right at the end of the auction and get your vehicle paid for, because storage fees rack up quick. What happened to me was I was out of the country. I contacted my bank. I sent a wire to pay for the vehicle, and the bank said, man, this looks like fraud. So we're going to lock your accounts, and we're not going to send the wire on Friday before a long holiday weekend. That didn't go well. Do you think that the auction house or the broker would look at the documentation I had from the bank? Look at the fact that I did pay for it on Tuesday morning? No, they don't care. I racked up $225 worth of storage fees because the bank decided to lock up my accounts because they thought it was fraud. So anyway, if I haven't mentioned it, this was a maximum. I bid $14,500 maximum on this, and the seller said no. And the next day it came up again, listed for a buy it now for $15,000. I said, $500, okay. So I thought about it for a day, and I said, all right, I'll pull the trigger on this one, and got it for $15,000. Out the door, almost $18,000. You got to take into account, not only do you have to pay the broker fees, but you also have to pay the auction house fees, because this one was not for sale to the public. Anyway, So that might give you a little insight as to how this works. Don't be afraid to sign up with a broker. They play by the book. They play by the rules. They don't deviate from that at all. There's no excuses for anything. If you bid on it, you buy it. If you don't buy it, you lose your deposit. If you bid on it and don't pick it up within 2 or 3 days, you start accruing storage fees and late fees and whatnot. Yeah, if you win something, go get it quickly. I mean, because storage fees is just a waste of money, in my opinion. Anyhow, hope this was helpful. If you think so, please give me a like and a subscribe. We'll be doing a lot more videos on this truck. There's lots of work to be done. We'll be taking it on a road trip in the next few days, hopefully going up to South Dakota, and parts in between, having just a relaxing trip on the road. So look forward to seeing you all in the next video. And please, once again, drop a comment. Let me know if you've had experiences with broker houses and auction yards that have been positive or negative. We can all learn from it. I hope this has been helpful, guys. Take care, good luck, and keep bidding. All right, see you soon.